So today I'm going to show you best reason why mini-mating nukes are better than anything else if you are going to produce your own queens. First, let's speak about only reason why people don't like mini-mating nukes. So in any conversation which I saw against mini-mating nukes are that frames and space is too small to see actual quality of the queen. So for example, if she has good pattern and stuff like that. So to be completely honest, I think this is bad argument because queen mating has nothing to do with beehive she's in. Only thing which can happen is that she actually get mated better because space in mini-mating nukes is spaced better. So for example, they can heat better, and apparently she is going on mating flight earlier than in normal nucleus, which bees has issues with heating up. But away from that, no matter if queen is in nucleus or mini-mating nuke, if weather is bad, queens won't get mated great, and only thing which is going to happen is that mini-mating nuke is going to waste way lower amount of bees instead of 5' nukes or whatever you are going to use else. So for example, in 5' nukes you are going to lose like 2 or 3 frames of brood plus bees, while in mini-mating nukes you are going to waste only like one small cup of bees. So only argument which I do agree with is that people which are going to sell queens should not use mini-mating nukes because they cannot see real value of the queen and they are going to sell that queen to other people. So when you see that they put queens in mini-mating nukes and as soon she start laying eggs, she is going to be sold without checking if patterns are good and so on, and I do agree with that, and I think that every queen should be tested before selling, but in the same way that's not cost efficient, and I do also understand why this is not possible for big producers. So now we come to the reason number one why mini-mating nukes are better than anything else, and of course it's amount of bees you need to set them up. So I tried every possible method: mini-mating nuke, 3' nuke, 5' nuke, I even tried normal 10' hives, and I even successfully mated a queen inside a glass jar, and you can see that on my YouTube channel. I record whole process of that, and here is my experience. So for mini-mating nuke you only need like 1 cup of bees, I already said that. For 3' nuke or queen castles you need full 2 frames of bees and 1 frame of cut brood. Then for 5' nuke you need at least 3 frames of bees and 2 frames of cut brood. So you get the point, the bigger the space is, you need more bees to keep that same hive warm and to function normally, and since most of the queens are produced early in the spring, temperatures there are very unstable and not having enough bees can cost you everything. So like I already mentioned, I saw that some people recommending mating queens in 10' hive. There they recommend that you should add like 4 frames of brood and a queen cell, and I really don't mind that, and if this works it's right away really nice and strong hive. Of course if the queen mates and everything work great, but the issue is that if something happen, if queen dies, and there is so many reasons for this to happen. For example, cell was bad, which happens so many times, or she died in mating flight, or weather conditions were poor and she didn't mate good, and after like few months you will start getting like drone brood and so on. So when this happen you are basically left with over like 20,000 queenless bees, and if you don't notice this right away you are going to lose them because they will try to produce their own queen, and that queen will not be good because you don't have young larvae in your hive. So that's exactly why I love mini-mating nukes. They are simple, efficient and completely stress-free. Reason number 2, because mini-mating nukes are small, they take up much less space, and honestly this is one of the best things about them. Like I said, most of the time you will produce your queens in spring, and for the rest of the year those little hives stay in your storage, and I personally always struggle with space, so mini-mating nukes are perfect for that. So some people may argue that you can keep bees in 3' nukes all year, or even overwinter them in 5' nukes, and that's absolutely true, but if your main goal is honey production, then as soon the queen is mated, you are either giving her brood to boost her up, or you are transferring the queen into fully set up and running hive. So please remember, keeping weak colonies costs you money, and more importantly, it increases the risk of diseases that can damage or even wipe out your whole bee yard. So please be extremely extremely careful. Reason number 3 is price. So here is where the biggest difference really shows. Mini-mating nucs are extremely cheap. I've seen some websites selling them for like $30 to $60, but please know that this is really bad deal. I bought around 30 of them for average price of just around $5 each, and if you compare this to other mating setups, they are really super affordable. For example, Queen Castle usually cost around $70 to $80, so they are just normal hive where they are like split in 3 parts and each part have 3 frames. And to be completely honest, yes, you can produce 3 queens in it. So let's say that average cost per colony of them is around $25, but they do have one really big disadvantage, and that's if they have any hole and if 2 queens can smell each other, what happens is that they start to really be stressed out, and multiple times I saw like 2 queens kill each other in front of the opening. So I don't know if that's because they were like returning from the mating flight in the same time, but it could be that they actually did smell each other and that they actually exit the hive and actually started to fight. Then we have 5-frame nucs, and those will cost you around $40 to $50, which is 10 times more expensive than mini-mating nuc. But of course those 5-frame nucs can be used for different purposes, so they have their advantage as well. So mini-mating nucs are super light and are really easy to transport, and they cost you almost nothing, just $5. And if any disease ever hits the colony inside, you can just safely burn whole entire nuc, and your total loss will be only those $5, which is in my opinion absolutely perfect. So just to say, if you watched until here, please consider subscribing because you are helping me a lot. And let's go to reason number 4. They consume very small amounts of food. You already know that mini-mating nucs require only tiny amount of bees compared to the other nucleus, but at the same time they use their space far more efficiently. Even though they have less bees, they heat the hive much better because space is smaller, and isolation is usually much better than in wooden hives. So mini-mating nucs are also fed with syrup, while Queen Castles and other types of nucs often have problems with feeding because many of them don't include feeders, so you're forced to use frames of honey. And to be honest, in spring those frames of food are risky to take from your main colonies because spring colonies consume a lot of food to keep brood warm, and queens are laying a lot of eggs. So if bad weather lasts for a full week, you could seriously weaken your strongest colonies or even lose them entirely. So weakening your production hives just to feed a few nucs is the last thing you want, and that's exactly where mini-mating nucs are good because each one of them have feeder inside, and syrup works great because there you have no brood, just bees and 1 queen. And the last thing which I really love is how easy inspections are. In 5-frame nuc you need a lot of time to find the queen, to check which frames have eggs if queen started laying, and to see if they have enough of food. But in mini-mating nuc you can do all of that in under a minute. I'm also going to try and test those minis in every possible way, so make sure to subscribe on my channel, and that's all. I really hope that you enjoyed.